All right, so this week's scheduling information, I might have to wear my glasses since I didn't. Some of these, if I already read it and look them over, then it's a little bit easier. Man, green with the blue looks kind of weird. Okay, all right, first let's start off with our information terms here. All right, so just going to go over terms again this week. For those of you who watch every week, sorry I'm boring you, but just click ahead just a little bit unless you're watching it live. Order banks, that is where the orders are placed, whether it be a stock order for a dealer or for a retail order. And a retail order is a customer placed order. So that's when you go into the dealership and they don't have something in stock you want and you custom order a vehicle. That's called a retail order. Stock orders where a dealership places an order in there. If they have we're going to talk about allocations in a second. They may need those stock orders because they're getting enough allocations and they don't have a lot of retail orders. Then they'll put some stock orders in. Priority code. This is a priority that a dealer gives to the orders. Anywhere from now they do it from 03 to 19 is a retail order. 20 to 80 is stock. Lower the better. So that's why retail orders are always looked at before a stock order. So, which is, in Ford's mind, it's that's a sold vehicle. So they want to give that priority over the others. Now, scheduling, that is when Ford schedules an order for production dates in the future months. So we're going to be talking about that today when we go through each model of what dates they're scheduling for in the future. Now, production date is when Ford plans to build your vehicle. They'll first get scheduled to the week, and then they'll get scheduled to the day as it gets closer to that production week. Allocations, Ford gives dealers allocations to schedule the orders that they have in the order bank. A dealer needs an allocation to schedule an order in the order bank, whether it be a retail or a stock order. And a dealer earns those allocations from their sales volume for each model within the region. So there's a complex formula there to get their allocations. Some of it is based on the sales. Some of it is based on the inventory that they currently have for that specific model. Constraints, those are options that may be in short supply or maybe take longer. If the capacity is a low number, then that may take longer to get it scheduled because of that. Which the capacity, that's what I just talked about. Capacity is a planned production rate for given motor, trim, or option. So, and then the constraint would be to where if they have more orders than their capacity, that would be the constraint of the certain option. Job 1 and 2, that is production run within a model year. They usually split that. They make some small changes, significant. Some of them depends on, because of a supply issue, they may make a change. If they can't get a certain thing, then they'll make those changes in the middle of the year. And that's what they would call at that point, job 2. And then balance out, that's the end of production where they're balancing out a particular model or an option, that kind of thing. So, all right. So there's that. All right. So let's talk about Mustang first. All right, so this week it looks like they are scheduling this a February cleanup commitment. So they are going to be scheduling, and cleanup means that anybody that has an allocation that hasn't been used, they want to clean that allocation up so it doesn't move up to next week or to the next month. So they want to go ahead and take care of that. So they are scheduling for production weeks, the weeks of January 1st through February 26th. So a couple months there that they're scheduling for. And it does say dealers with a balance to schedule Dark Horse. Don't forget, you must take off the Dark Horse handling package to get that order, to get it to schedule, or your allocation may be lost. And the order banks are open up right now for the 24 model year Mustang, and there's currently only 992 unscheduled retail orders. There may be stock ones, but that's the retail orders. That's not counting Dark Horse. And there's really nothing really constrained other than maybe GT Performance Package, which are going to be limited to just retail orders. Stock orders cannot choose the Performance Package on their vehicle. Night Pony Package is as well a little bit, but those numbers are within to what that. I mean, there's only 992 unscheduled orders, so it shouldn't take too long to get your Mustang scheduled. There you go. All right, next is the 24 model year Escape, and they are scheduling this week for production weeks in January and February as well, just like with the Mustang. So the weeks of January 1st through the weeks of February 26th. And on Escape, there's currently only 437 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank, most of which, about a fourth of them, are plug-in hybrid orders. So the capacity on that is 7%. So within a production month, 7% of the Escapes built will be plug-in. So it's a pretty low number with 27%. So we're talking about 100 of those orders being plug-in hybrid. Capacity, I don't know what their production run is for a month, but with only 7%, they may not get them all scheduled. So if you have a plug-in, just keep that in mind. Order banks are open up for the 24 model year Escape right now, just so you know that. All right. So Bronco Sport is next, 24 model year. They are scheduling this week for production dates, the weeks of January 1st through February 26th. They probably will schedule this week. I think last week they did end up canceling their scheduling at the last minute. We had some that were previewing and then didn't get scheduled. So that they'll probably run this week. It does say no scheduling for the Badlands trim until mid-March. And then limited availability options is a convenience package, which you'd find on the Big Ben or the freewheeling, and then also your front and rear splash guards. Of course, I'm a firm believer. Get your aftermarket stuff with your dealer. It'll help speed up yours getting selected for scheduling. Also, exhaust availability for the 2.0 EcoBoost, which that's your Badlands. So we already know they're not gonna schedule. Tech package also that's optional on the Outer Banks is exhausted, and then black appearance package on the Big Bend is also exhausted. So, and some people might ask right here, what's limited versus exhausted? They're just saying, exhausted would be like very rare that you're going to get scheduled because they have very few supplies for other reason on that particular package. Like in this case, the black appearance package, which is optional on the Big Ben, evidently exhausted because either they've already scheduled about all that they had planned, so there may be only room for one or two. Limit availability means that they've scheduled most of them, but they probably has some limit, a few that they can squeeze into slots. So we'll see that on some of these different trims. Now the order banks are open up for the 24 model year Bronco Sport. Currently only 207 retail orders unscheduled in the order bank, so not that many at all. And half of those, about 100, are Badlands. So when you look at it that way, 54% of the orders in the order bank are Badlands. And so, that's a high number, and about half are also freewheeling. So you got about 100 orders that are Badlands, 100 that are freewheeling. So if you have something else that you want to order, it'll probably get scheduled pretty fast because, most of the people are waiting on one of those two. So, and the order banks are open up for that. So, all right. 24 model year Edge is scheduling this week. Cleanup commitment again for dealers that have an allocation and what they can try to schedule what they can. They are scheduling for the weeks of February 5th through the weeks of March 4th. So they are trying to finish out. It doesn't say balance out yet, but we know Edge is sunsetting soon. It means it's going away. Exhaust availability is the 18-inch split spoke sparkle silver painted aluminum wheel. That's the wheel option 64F, which I think is a standard wheel on the SE, if I remember right. And the order banks are open up for most of your Edges because they need some orders, except for the ST. So if you want to put one in, there's 701 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank. So some people did take advantage of going ahead and ordering, and that order bank getting opened up back up again. Really nothing's really constrained other than the ST. So, all right. 24 model year Ranger scheduling this week. We've said this week and go back to scheduling. This is the week they're doing that. It says no scheduling for stock orders unless they are a stock Raptor order. So you might ask, why would there be a stock Raptor? Well, if a dealership doesn't have people that's put in a retail order, but they get that their one Raptor allocation, then they would use their stock one. Otherwise, they would use the retail order, of course, first. So there you go. No stock scheduling, retail only for the Ranger. Order banks are open up for the 24 model year Ranger. There's currently 4,481 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank with no constraints on their constraint list, which is nice seeing a bunch of blanks there. All right. 24 model year Bronco. They are scheduling this week. It says, please submit Raptor orders in order to fit availability. So they're saying order to where it's available. For Raptor orders, will require a mix in the order bank. 70% of the orders can have the optional beadlock wheel, 64T, and 30% can have the standard wheel. 50% can have leather interior and 50% vinyl interior. So that's kind of the capacity mix. So we're talking about capacity earlier. That would be the mix for the Raptor. Important note says for Heritage, standard order bank is closed for stock in retail ordering. For Heritage Limited, order bank is closed for retail ordering. So they can put in a stock one. And why you might see that is that every dealer gets one Heritage Limited order. So if they didn't have a customer that wanted to order with them, then they can still get their their Heritage Limited order. So then they can put the stock one in instead. That's the way we did it, and then we just sold it the way it was. The order banks are open up right now for the 24 model year Bronco. And let's see, there's currently only 4,750 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank, which is a very low number, very low. So Ford is doing a great job getting caught up on that. They probably could schedule close to most of those, within a month. Now, they're going to fill in the last allocation, so we probably won't see, all those get scheduled this month, but I wouldn't see why we don't see those get scheduled for next month. So, see. Anything over capacity, I mean, the Black Diamond technically is 50%, but with the number as low as it is, if you guys see these sheets, these capacity commodity sheets out there online, you have to understand what you're reading and what you're understanding. So when it says the retail U.S. order bank and it shows a percentage of 15%, like this one's a Black Diamond 15%, you got to remember that 50% is based on that 4,750 orders. But the U.S. capacity is based on what their production run is. So even though it looks like they're over capacity in Black Diamond, there's too many Black Diamond orders, that's not really the case when you figure in what their capacity is and how many they can schedule within a production month. So you have to keep that in mind, that those numbers don't always work when the production numbers are real low, or the unscheduled orders are real low. At this point, my feeling is, unless you're waiting on a Heritage Edition 2-door order, or really Heritage Edition orders, you shouldn't have a problem getting anything scheduled. Here's a situation: Everglades, only 27 unscheduled Everglades orders in the order bank. I know that this is one where people are going to look at it and go, so they're not scheduling Everglades. Yes, they are. It's just, it says 0% there because somebody, whoever's job it was, didn't do their job and update that with a correct number of production, which from what I understand is 1.5% on the Everglades for this year. So that just didn't get updated. So only 1% of the orders in the order bank are Everglades. The production runs 1.5%. So all the Everglades could get scheduled within a month, right? So really, I feel like on the Bronco, unless you're looking for a Heritage Limited, or a Raptor, you could pick about anything in there and with about any configuration, unless you load up too many aftermarket stuff in there. You should get scheduled pretty quickly. And I would feel confident in that, and also this sheet does show 0% for manual transmission. That is not correct. There's only 240 manual transmission orders in the order bank. That's 5%. I don't know what that number is. They haven't actually told us yet, but it's not 0%. Even if it's 5%, we're good, right? So anyway, feel free to, I guess what I'm saying is, feel free to order what you want on a Bronco. Of course, you can't order the Heritage Edition anyway, and it shouldn't take too long to get scheduled. So again, does rely on dealer orders and allocations. We have, I think, 9-10 unscheduled orders in there, outside of the Heritage 2-doors. And so, yeah, we're going to probably see that happening pretty soon, where we're not going to have any retail orders, and we're going to be ordering stock ones. So that's coming up real short. All right. So that's that. 24 model year Maverick, cleanup scheduling. Again, dealers that have allocations like us, we do not. Dealers that do, and they are looking for orders that will fulfill what they have availability for. And I will tell you, XL is not it right now. So I just have that from a source. Production weeks, they are scheduling for the weeks of January 1st through February 26th. I know they scheduled a lot of late February ones last week for some people, from what I understand. Here's some of the news here. Limited availability for the XL version. So keep that in mind, whether it be front wheel drive or all wheel drive. Very limited. So we're talking EcoBoost or hybrid there. Also, limited availability for the hybrid engine. Limited availability for the black appearance package, which actually is new. Actually, that was actually told, hey, putting that on there could help you, especially on an XLT. But that's limited for this week. And the tires that are available only on the XL and XLT, the 225, 65, R17, season tires are limited availability as well. Exhaust availability is on your tonneau cover. And if you've watched the live stream for any bit of time, you'll know I tell you don't put those on your orders anyway. Order banks are open up, including the XL. So that would have been an is it true for this week. But anyways, there is some out there on the forums. People think that you can't order an XL. That is not true. You can order an XL. Just be prepared to wait a little bit, especially if you want a hybrid XL. So there you go. And I think there has to do something with the tires that are on the XL and suppliers. All right. So let's look at this. So let's see how many orders are unscheduled. So there's currently 21,212 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank. That is not that many. They produced 13,000 last month. So keep that in mind in their production run as we move forward. And so it does show as we get closer to those numbers being lower, some of these numbers on what's on the percentage of the orders, those numbers can go up and look really skewed. So like this report shows 81% of the unscheduled retail orders for the hybrid, 81% of them are hybrid. That seems really high, but remember, 81% of 21,000 is still can be scheduled within a couple months. So again, you got to learn how to read these reports, and that's what I'm here for. XL is 59%, and it shows capacity of 23. Well, that just means that 59% of the 21,000, it's a little over 10,000. Well, 25% of 13,000, what is that number? So you got to look and kind of read this that way. So I've talked about it before. If you have questions, we can talk about it later, but there you go. Most everything is within constraints other than like XL, hybrid. Those are the things. If you're wanting a gas EcoBoost, you want an XLT, good to go. Order it up, and you shouldn't probably get it scheduled pretty fast. All right, 24 model year Explorer. So they are scheduling this week for production weeks of January 1st through February 26th. For dealers that have allocations, of course. Exhausted availability on a lot of things. Limited version, the Platinum version, XLT version, the Timberline version, King Ranch, ST line. And it does say also 20-inch carbonized gray painted 10-spoke wheel and the 20-inch premium painted aluminum wheel, which is wheel 649. Again, exhausted availability means that they don't have, they're almost out and can't fulfill a lot of slots for dealers if they have those orders. And then limited availability is the 2.3 EcoBoost engine and the 2-wheel drive version. So you're better off going 4x4 on your Explorers. Order banks are open up for the 24 model year Explorer. Don't forget, they're only producing vehicles for 4 months. January, February, March, and April. So keep that in mind. And also keep in mind that King Ranch and Timberline will not be available next year or 25 model year. There are currently only 268 unscheduled orders in the order bank for the Explorer. 24 model year Expedition, no scheduling this week. So just so you know that, order banks are open up for 24 Expedition, and there's currently only 715 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank. Looks like some people listened either to me or to their dealer and took off those Platinum optional wheels. The standard wheel, they put the optional wheel because the percentage of the Platinum standard wheel went down this week. So that's good to know that people are paying attention to that, and dealers are paying attention to help their customers. So 24 model year Mach-E, it looks like it is scheduling for dealerships that have allocations. They are scheduled for the weeks of January 1st through February 19th. Order banks are open up for the Select and the Premium trim. ST or the GT, I'm sorry, and the Rally not available yet. They are closed, and actually they put it on here this week. The GT version is closed. There you go. So you can go ahead and order. See here, there are currently only 30 unscheduled retail orders for the Mach-E in the order bank, with 73% of them being non-GT, of course. Well, that makes sense. And then also 60% of them being the LFP standard range battery. So also something to note. All right, moving on. 24 model year Super Duty. So scheduling for production weeks at Kentucky truck plant. That's usually most of your most truck are made in Kentucky. They are scheduling for the weeks of January 1st through February 19th. And an Ohio truck plant, which is usually cab and chassis, some of those more commercial trucks, they're scheduling for the weeks of February 12th and the week of February 19th. Limited availability for the F550 and the limited version. You can't get a limited 550, so it's two separate. So limited available for the F550, limited availability for the limited. It's kind of funny. Also, unlimited availability for the tire that's optional on the F600 XL and XLT. That's the tire code is TGU. That's the 245/70R 19.5 black sidewall traction tire. Also, the tire that's standard on the F600 XL and XLT. So pretty much your F600s are a problem because both wheels, whether it be the standard or the optional wheel or tire, is limited availability. So that tire is tire TD5, which is the 245/70R 19.5 G black sidewall. All right. And then also limited availability for option code 64E. That's the 18-inch machine and painted aluminum wheel, which is included with the Tremor off-road package. So if you have a Tremor off-road package, you may not get scheduled. Again, limited availability doesn't mean there's not a chance. It's just that, again, it's just a small chance because they need to fill in. And these are some things that they're in short supply on. Also, 64J option, which is the 17-inch forged polished aluminum wheel that is standard on the Lariat and Platinum F350, optional on the XL and XLT F350. So keep that in mind. I assume the dually one is what they're talking about. And then SEK frame. So that's back on here. It does say optional on the F450, F550, and 600. With the 169-inch dually. The reason I laugh is it says 7.3 diesel again. I told them about that. They said they were going to correct it, but evidently somebody dropped the ball. All right. Also, limited availability for the 193-inch wheelbase, which is optional on the XL, XLT, F450, F550, 600 chassis cabs, and the 203-inch wheelbase fuel tank with the low sulfur diesel fuel 98L option. And then also the lug nut cap available on the F250, F450 pickup with four-wheel drive, single rear wheel, the 20-inch chrome wheels, or the 20-inch polished and dark carbonized gray high gloss alloy wheel. So order banks are open up for the 24 model year Super Duty. There's currently 21,736 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank. And again, those upper trims, King Ranch Platinum Limited, those are the hard ones that are going to get you for you guys to get scheduled. Lariat is well within capacity. Tremor is, except for, now we've seen that was the wheel is an issue. That may be a struggle for you, but and then unless you're looking for the high output diesel engine, the other engines are within capacity. So that might be something for you to consider whether or not you can go with just the standard 6.7 liter diesel engine. So it's a good engine. So you'll be all right. 24 model year F-150. Looks like they are scheduled for the week of February 19th. Says, please submit Raptor 801A order to fit the availability. So they last week we didn't see 802 or 803A listed. This week now they are bringing it back into this. So evidently they scheduled some of those last week and cannot schedule anymore. Only way you're going to get a Raptor schedule looks like this week is if it's an 801A order type, which is your standard Raptor. Limited availability for the tonneau cover pickup box. And order banks are open up for the 24 model year F-150 with only 4,464 unscheduled retail orders, not counting Raptor or Lightning. And about everything's within capacity. You shouldn't really struggle with an F-150 order. Maybe Lariat Black appearance package. That's close, but still, even at that one, you should be okay there. So, all right. 24 model year F-150 Lightning. They are scheduled for the week of February 19th as well. No constraints listed. The order banks are open up for the 24 model year. Feel free to put those orders in. We're taking orders with a discount. So if you're interested in that and want to get some information on it, contact us. We can help you out with that. Yeah, no constraints or anything. That's all I have to say about that. 24 model year Transit. They are scheduled for the weeks of February 12th or the week of February 19th. Limit availability for the high roof long van, the high roof extended passenger van, the high roof long passenger van, the low roof passenger van, the medium roof passenger van. Hope you don't need a passenger van. The 360-degree camera for the ICE orders. That would be your non-electric, all electric ones. That's option 61D. Also, heavy duty cargo flooring, which is option 61B, is limited. 360-degree camera. They mentioned it twice. Do they not like use? Did they not look these over? I don't know. Anyway, deal with the digital rear view mirror, option 90C, the 15 passenger seating, option 96P, and the dark palazzo gray cloth 10-way power heated driver and 10-way power heated passenger, which is option 21Q, is also limited. So order banks are open up for 24 model year Transit with only 6,000 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank. And yeah, you already got all the capacity things there. So there we go. So let's go ahead and open it up for Q&A. You got some Q's and A. If you got Q's, I got A's. Hopefully.
I do have news. The Ford build and price for Maverick is down. Like you can't get onto it. It's not loading.
That's probably why people are trying to rumor that you can't order. Remember, Ford's build and price is not where you order. So just so you know that.
It's not. And Law McArthur's, if you're trying to build out something or look up something, Law McArthur's build and price is up.
It is up. It's running. So
if you're trying to build something out, go on over there. We have it, and it's almost more accurate.
It's just as accurate. It should be accurate. We usually try to go through that and pick it apart if it's wrong.
Tim is the one that goes through and picks it apart, and then he actually has the contact to be like, "Hey, this needs fixed." Unlike with Ford, where you're like, "You're missing mirrors on this graphic."
All right. Any other questions?
Yes, we do.
All
right. Did you answer? Sorry. Got that one.
Pop it
up. Oh, do you know how many unscheduled Super Duty F450 orders are in the order bank?
No, they put all Super Duties in together. They don't separate out 450s versus 350s versus 250s. They put them together.
Any idea on the time frame? If you're scheduled for the week of 1/1 on Bronco, what type of delivery expectation should there be?
It's hard to tell because they'll usually takes about 4 weeks once it's built. But again, there could be some delay in building. It can move it back. So I don't like to say anything until you actually get that you've been built. So once you get that email that says your vehicle is built or your vehicle is shipped, I like seeing that one first. Once you see that email that says your vehicle's been shipped, then figure about 4 weeks from that time, and you're pretty close. Having a production week of 1/1, don't expect it 2/1. Don't necessarily expect it in February 1st, right? I wait for that. It's been shipped, then no, because you can ask Francis, and he's in our group here, where his was built right before they went on strike. And then once the strike was over and everything, it took several weeks before it actually got shipped. So I don't like to say 4 weeks because then we would have been 2 months behind in actually getting it, right? So there you
go. For the 24 Bronco model year, Sync 4 B&O system, do they still contain built-in nav and not just connected?
Okay, so there is connected nav, and then there's built-in connected nav. So usually the built-in gets you a longer subscription. I believe they went to a 1-year subscription across the board on all those, if I remember right.
Well, Rydercon can probably. Yeah, he just said connected
with a 1 year.
connected built-in nav is no more.
Well, yeah. Okay. So basically what Ford did was they called it connected. They gave you 30 days or 3 months. That was called connected. And then built-in connected means you basically got 3 years.
Right. Okay. So
preloaded.
now they
That was the
do
terminology.
standard connected nav with a 1-year trial rather than 90-day.
Yes. So they don't call it built-in because you're not getting 3 years. So yeah.
Because most people lease for 3 years.
Yeah. Or maybe trade before then. But yeah, so that's the wording, and that's basically if you knew whether or not you had the 3 year, you had the three months. Was if you had that word built in there, what meant you got the 3 years. But now they just call it connected nav, and it's a 1 year. So then after that, you have to sign up for that, which I use Android Auto. So plug the phone in. It keeps my phone charged and gets me there. All right.
Okay. So Nick P has a question. That's a two-parter because you can't put it all in one.
Yep. I saw one earlier.
Hi, love you guys. Question is, if I ordered a 23 Super Duty Limited in October of 2022 and received confirmation of order from Ford, and it never got scheduled, so I went back to my dealer and reordered it under the same number, and now I got scheduled date 11/6 of 23 for a 24. Do I get any kind of price discount or money from Ford?
All right. It's a great question. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure I covered it. I don't know if there's any private offers. Now, if what they did do is for people that had a 22 order that got scheduled in 23, they got a $5,000 private offer for 22s going to 23. But anyway, anybody from 23 to 24, they did not, because the dealers are supposed to only take as many as they could get. But with that said, if there are still some people from 22, they probably will still get their $5,000. But I was going to look up and see if I had information on that, and see if I had any dealer news updates for Super Duty on that. So let me look in my report here. Yeah, I don't have any news that shows that they're going to give a private offer. It's like, that's a good question. So I usually can answer both of those questions, but that's a situation where I don't know if they're going to still give you their $5,000 private offer or not. So, because I know going for 22 to 23, they got $5,000 if they got their 23. But since you didn't get your 23, which you should have, which means your dealership probably took more orders than they were supposed to.
Wait, did he order a 22 or did he order a 23?
He ordered in 20. Oh, so he ordered in 23 model year. So you ordered in October of 22. Oh, so you ordered a 23 model year.
Yes.
So because dealers were told, here's how many orders you should take, if you didn't get scheduled, then I don't think there's a private offer for you.
Yeah.
If you had a 22 model year going to 23, you were supposed to get 5,000. So in that situation, you probably will not get a private offer.
Yes. Also, if you are curious to see if you do have a private offer, you can call Ford customer service and they can usually look it up for you.
Mm-hmm. As well as your dealer, if they're
willing to check.
Yes.
Some are not.
All right.
All right. Brandon Jones has one. If I wanted to place a 24 model year Maverick in January and it's scheduled basically immediately, would late April be a great general time frame for delivery?
I think okay, I don't know if they're going to be scheduling in December, because normally you start scheduling for the next model year or the next month about this time. And I think because Christmas lies in those 2 weeks, the reason we saw them scheduling for 2 months through February is that we won't see scheduling again until January. So if you order now, it'd probably be a January scheduling for a March build date, with April-ish expectations for delivery. So if you could get scheduled right away, then you could probably.
Because I know you guys had said that you were going to wait for 25, because I think you had some purchases going on lately with a couple of things.
Yeah.
That you guys wanted to wait till 25. But if you're ready, we can place that. He wants to place a Tremor or an FX4 order. So they need the 4K tow package, so it would probably be an FX4, since you can't get 4K with Tremor, right?
Yes, you cannot get 4K with Tremor.
So it'd be an FX4 with a 4K tow package. So yeah. But
there you go.
You can always call and chat with us on that, Brandon.
All right. Any other scheduling questions?
Do you anticipate one or more job 2s and updated order guides for any models in January?
They don't let us know usually. I mean, sometimes we'll see in the scheduling notes that they're, hey, move into job 2. A lot of times, unless there's just an order guide update and it says, here's your job 2 changes, we don't know. To be honest, they don't really tell us.
Yeah. So Nick was asking his question because the price of his Super Duty went from 108 to 111.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but they most likely won't do private offer because they were given expectation of numbers.
Yep.
So it's not Ford's fault. It's the dealer's fault.
Yeah. So back in 23 model year, they actually gave us, here's how many allocations you should expect to get. And your goal was to not take more than that number of orders. And so that's why Ford said they're not giving private offers. So
yeah, because they didn't do that with Maverick and they didn't do it with Bronco. And that's why you saw those private offers for Bronco. And well, we saw it with Super Duties going from 22 to 23 because they didn't give numbers.
Correct.
Yep.
And they're going back to not giving numbers. So woohoo. Yeah. All right. Any other questions regarding scheduling?
Nope. That's all we have for scheduling.